Everyone, we're going to talk about chapter 21 today, and we're only going to go over sections 1 and 2. So the first part is the introduction, which was on page 311, otherwise known as 21.1. The first vocabulary word is microenterprise, which is a very small business with few or no employees. A micro-entrepreneur is a person who starts and runs a very small business. Next, we get into the questions. Question 1, how did Hassana decide to make money for her family, which included 5 children? She baked bread and sold it at the local street market. Number 2, when she borrowed money from an organization, that should say, what did she use that money to buy? She bought an oven. Number 3, what is an entrepreneur? Someone who starts their own business. Question 4, why do you think Hassana doesn't just go to get a job someplace instead of running her own business? Well, jobs are hard to find for women in Africa because there's a division of labor, meaning that women are generally expected to take care of the family instead of make money for their families. So they're supposed to do the cooking, the cleaning, and taking care of the house and not necessarily leaving the house to go make money. Point 2 vocabulary. The first word is developing countries, a poorer country with a less advanced economy. In general, these countries are trying to increase their industries and improve life for their people. We have talked about developed and developing countries before, so this is a word you should be familiar with. The next word is undernourished. This means not enough food to lead a healthy life, not nourished enough. We talked earlier in the year of how many calories each person should have to lead a healthy life. We learned that Americans eat many more calories than is necessary. Undernourished is the opposite. They are not getting enough calories to be successful and live a healthy life. The next word is drought, an unusually long period in which little or no rain falls. The next vocabulary word is a pastoral nomad. They are groups of herders who move with their animals from place to place in search of pasture and water. A civil war is a war between groups living in the same country. Now, keep in mind that the United States is not the only place to have a civil war. The next vocabulary term is gender-based division of labor. The division of work into 2 categories based on gender. The result is that men and women do different kinds of work. We also talked about this gender-based division of labor when we talked about the ancient Maya. Informal economy. The part of the economy in which goods and services are exchanged outside of government control. People who work in this often sell goods on the street or in a street market. Now we're going to be going over 21.2 questions. Question number 5 is, where in Africa is Mali? It's in the western part of Africa. Number 6, where in Africa is Uganda? It's in the eastern part of Africa. And number 7, where in Africa is Botswana? It's in the center of South Africa. As you can see on this map, Mali is a landlocked nation, but it is on the western portion. But please note, it does not border the Atlantic Ocean. The next one is Uganda. Uganda, as you can see, also inland, but this one is on the eastern portion, and it is at least bordering some lakes, but not bordering any oceans. And the last one, Botswana, also a landlocked country, is in the southern portion of Africa. We will continue with our questions now. Question 8, how many of the world's 30 poorest countries are in Africa? Typically, how much do they make in a day? 21 out of the 30 poorest countries are in Africa. They typically make less than $1 a day. Number 9, in 2007, how many Africans were undernourished? What does that mean in your own words? So what I said for my answer was that about 236 million Africans are undernourished, which means that they don't get enough food or nourishment to lead a healthy life. So in other words, you aren't getting enough calories and nutrients per day if you are considered undernourished. And number 10, which disease is the most deadly in Africa and how often do children die from it? Malaria is the most deadly and it is passed from mosquitoes. So when children get bit, it spreads. Number 11, what issues does drought cause? Drought causes crop failures, herds of animals die, and severe food shortages occur. Number 12, which 3 countries did they mention have had a civil war? Rwanda, Liberia, and Angola have all had civil wars. So keep in mind that the United States is not the only country who's had a civil war. Number 13, who earns the most of the money for a family, and what does the other gender do? Men earn most of the money while women take care of the family, which includes growing the food on small plots of land to feed their family. So the men usually leave to do the work, whereas the women stay at the family farm or area. Number 14, what percentage of women ages 15 through 24 could not read, and what problems does this cause? About 30% of women ages 15 through 24 cannot read because they haven't been educated properly. So the only place where they can find work is in the informal economy. Number 15, how can the informal economy be bad for the country? The people working in the informal economy do not pay taxes, so the government has less money to help its citizens. 16, how does the informal economy benefit many women? The informal economy benefits women by allowing them to start a new business without having a lot of money. Now we're going to be looking at the Gender Development Index map. So the Gender Development Index is located in TCI, and if you haven't had time to look at it and study it, you'll need to do so. This you should have used to help you answer the questions. First, you should start by looking at what this is showing us. So you can see that over here on the key, you've got the Gender Development Index. The higher GDI rank is going to be the dark pink. That's going to mean that males and females are more equal. A medium GDI rank means they are less equal, and a low GDI rank means that they are completely unequal. Then you've got the ones with the stripes that are the 10 lowest ranked countries in the world. So those have the least equality between men and women. Over here, it says that the map compares the relative condition of men and women in Africa. It is based on a ranking system called the Gender Development Index, or GDI. This index rates countries by comparing men and women in 3 areas: education, income, and life expectancy. In all 3 areas, women fare worse than men in Africa. As a result, the GDI rankings of African countries are low. So what they are saying is that the equality between men and women in African countries are overall not very equal. Okay, let's look at the questions. Number 17, which country has the highest Gender Development Index? Well, the highest one is going to be Libya because that's the only one in the dark pink. Number 18, is Mozambique's Gender Equality Index better or worse, that should say, than Tanzania's? Mozambique's Gender Inequality Index is worse. How do we know that? You have to go back and you have to find both Mozambique and Tanzania. Tanzania, as you can see, is in the orange, whereas Mozambique is one of the 10 worst. So our answer then would be that Mozambique's gender inequality is worse than Tanzania's. And number 10, what level of GDI does Cameroon have? Again, we have to go and find Cameroon, which was over here. It has a border to the Atlantic Ocean. And Cameroon is going to be the orange color, and we can see that that is a medium GDI rank. Then number 20, which nation is very close to touching a point of Europe? Not Egypt, as that does not border Europe. So we need to go back to our map, and you can see that there are some places that are close, but that is not Europe. Europe is going to be up here. And so because of that, there's really only one area right here that they almost touch each other. So this is Portugal. This is Spain. Way at the tip down here is a place called Gibraltar. Gibraltar is owned by England. England owns this area. So Gibraltar and Morocco are only separated by the Strait of Gibraltar. If you stand at the top of a hill on Gibraltar, you can see Morocco from there. So they are actually close enough to see. They are very close to each other. So that would be the typical easy passageway from Africa into Europe. And number 21, the GDI index rates countries by comparing men and women in which 3 areas? That's education, income, and life expectancy. Okay, the homework then is that you should study the Quizlet provided on PowerSchool, just of sections 1 and 2 for chapter 21. Remember, you have to go to the link on PowerSchool to find that, or in your directions sheet, because you are not joined at a Quizlet class for social studies. You do need to know those words because there will be a quiz tomorrow. You also need to study the gender development index map that we just used for the last questions, as it will be on tomorrow's quiz as well. You don't need to have it memorized, but you need to understand what the different colors are showing you. And again, you need to remember to email your teacher if you have any questions about sections 1 or 2, or if you have questions about the upcoming quiz, I should say. All right, thank you for listening.